Just want to give a quick shout out to you all. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for all the likes, and we love your comments. Please keep them coming. Also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of our affiliates. And if you check out our website, you can get access to all of them. We get discounts with everybody. Pretty much adding a new affiliate every other month or so. It's crazy how fast we're growing. But we take a lot of pride in our website, and we take even more pride in our community. And now we're getting some of that pride to spill out onto our YouTube channel, and we're going to keep it coming. Thanks again, guys. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for subscribing, and thanks for all the likes and comments, man. We really love the feedback. Anyway, just thought I would throw together a quick watch list build, although this has kind of been one of those weeks where you just want to kind of sit on your hands, unfortunately. Not a whole lot going on for swing trade setups. Day trade setups are plentiful this week. However, swing trading is kind of a hands-off week. Let me get into a few details here. So looking at kind of a thing that we watched that gives us a lot of insight as far as what SPY does is Apple. Apple is about 7% of SPY, or 7% of the S&P 500. It's a huge, huge percentage considering what else is in that mix. So if you look at it, you kind of get an idea of sentiment. And looking at things in this descending channel, unless we can break angular resistance on this baby, we are likely to resume a little bit more bearishness in this. Let's just line that up real quick. No, actually, drop that down. There we go. I like to build my trend lines and stuff as we speak here. I usually do that in my live stream anyway. But just kind of looking, unless we can break this angular resistance and make a bullish move out of it, come back and retrace up here to about 160 to 164 area. I really don't see any setup happening this week just yet. By the end of the week, we might have a signal, whether we're going to go long or short on that. But other than that, it's kind of a slow, grindy week, and we're looking to trap range today, and you know, it's just really kind of ucky out there. There's certainly some things you can scalp, lots of day trades to be made, but just be mindful that as far as swing trades go, building a watch list on a week like this, a little risky. So we haven't put one out at all this week, other than today. I'm just going to put one out there because I'm going to give you some sort of insight here. Anyway, just looking at Apple, I mean, we've got also some bear targets here. We could see a retracement back down to this level, about 156.40, somewhere in that neighborhood. Just looking at the last consolidation. If we get into that as a trend, bottom of that's about 151, 152. So yeah, unless you want to trade that bearish, or even take a neutral position where you can go into an iron condor or even a short iron condor selling credit spreads. And you know, remember, it's not about what you trade, it's about how you trade it. A million ways to skin a cat, and plenty of things to do. But my personal opinion, I'm going to sit and wait for a better signal. That's all I can say about that. Same with SPY. I mean, you can kind of look at the same thing, although we had some great trading on Friday and into Monday and Tuesday. SPY today is just kind of sideways. Today is the last day of the month. A lot of contracts expiring today, and market makers love to make sure that they can expire as many contracts out of the money and worthless as possible. They love trapping range on days like today. If they finish that early, maybe they'll give us a little move into the close. We might get some power hour setups, or might even give us a midday swing back to the open. We'll keep an eye on it, and I'll certainly give it a look later tonight to see if we can find any insight for later in the week or even in the next week. Might get some clues today. We did have that really nice diamond pattern on Thursday that took shape, and our trend lines are being respected very well until they weren't. So overnight, last night, if you watched that video I made, I said, you know, approximately where the open can be expected, whether it was bullish or bearish. And knowing today is a 0 day, or, you know, the end of the month day where you got lots of contracts expiring, range day is more like it. However, if you stand back and look here, you got kind of a setup happening here. We might get a little double bottom bounce out of this, at least back to the mid-range. Might touch 400 again today. Day trading, perfect. There's a couple setups maybe happening later today. Other than that, tomorrow I think we'll have a better day trading, and we still got a couple things to keep in mind. This ancient bearish wolf wave that I set up here, this white line, is a resistance point. We could actually achieve that maybe even today, but probably not. We're likely to open around there tomorrow, though. It's kind of a thing. If you watch my future stream, you'll see that I have it lined in purple, and I've been calling it the purple wolf all week now, and it just keeps on getting visited, but never quite smashed. And it's at a slightly different angle than we see on SPY, because SPY, trades during market hours and pre-market hours and after hours. There's a big gap between 8 p.m. in the evening and 4 a.m. when it opens. So all that price action that takes place in there kind of adds up for your futures chart, changes things a little bit, but SPY is still very tradable with its own analysis. So anyway, lots of things can happen, but I think this week we're going to sit on our hands. Basically, we can scalp it, maybe sell some credit spreads, maybe even some zero-day. Well, it's a little late to sell zero-day credit spreads, but at any rate, it's going to be better to wait for something a little better to swing trade. I thought I'd post this out today so at least you know that we're not leaving you hanging. We're just not seeing anything that's really worth swing trading this week. I think maybe we'll have an answer by tomorrow, but more than likely next week is going to be the better week to find a trend. As for Ford, today we've got this little descending channel here, descending wedge. And it's kind of threatening a breakout, maybe, but let's look a little further left. And I mean way further left. Let me get this out of the way. Looking at consolidation, we got range expansion at the top and then range contraction at the top. And what it comes down to is you get the old triple top setup, or head and shoulders as people like to call it. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. I call them triple tops because there's really no definition of a pullback into that first neck. Whatever. Anyway, pattern for pattern, I mean, if you go out to a daily chart, you see it cleanly rejected a 200-day, and that's never a good sign. Consolidation, we're under the 8-period moving average, just barely. We could see a bearish move into that maybe next week and start going into these control zones on the way back down, probably to at least a 50% retracement. We might see $13 next week, maybe towards the end of the week, maybe a little later than that. Who knows? But I'm kind of teetering on the decision on jumping into a bearish position on that, but I'm going to wait till probably tomorrow or Friday before I do, just because we know that there's no real direction here this week just yet, other than slight, bias towards the bear side if you look at SPY. So, yeah, kind of a hands-off week. Similar situation for Disney as Ford. I'm kind of looking at more of a bearish opportunity than a bullish opportunity. Again, we kind of didn't quite get to the daily 200. We've got a consolidating pattern here. It can wedge out, set up for a long-term swing for a measured move to the bullish side, and maybe attack that 150 level again, which would kind of be a retracement of the descending channel that is just now breaking out of, but it may not do it until it visits this angular one more time. So if we get a bearish pullback on that, we could see support hit down to around $105, somewhere in that neighborhood. That is very possible. But for the most part, it's setting up like it wants to be a long-term bullish position. And again, wait till the end of the week, maybe into next week before you take a decision on that one. Always plan your trade and trade your plan. And of course, if your parameters in that plan are not met, don't take the trade. That's that simple. You don't have to trade. As an old pilot's adage, takeoffs are optional, but landings, they're mandatory. And if you enter a trade, the moment you hit that button, man, you are a hedge fund manager in your own right. And you make a bad decision on that because you didn't follow your plan. It's not poor planning, it's poor execution. And I'll even admit to getting caught up in some of that today. My day trading was not great today in the chop, but I'm making it back by the end of the day. I think I'll be fine. Anyway, long story short, good week to kind of sit on your hands, maybe read a book, do some learning. Certainly lots of opportunities to learn. If you look at short-term price patterns, you can certainly see some great little day trading happening today. But other than that, I'd kind of wait before I take any kind of swing trading. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for today. I'll see you a little later on, maybe with a look at SPY. Have a good one.